Welcome. How are you doing today? I have air conditioning in here again. I haven't had it for a few years. It started going out in 2018. For the past 2 years, I just haven't had AC. Like, it would cough up a little tiny bit of Freon, like, if it was early in the morning. Later in the day when I'm driving home from work, it was just brutal. I was very excited to get my fucking car back yesterday. They quoted me $2,300, it ended up being $2,100. And it is wild that now I am now a woman who pays for car repairs with her debit card. Granted, I had to transfer that money from my savings account to my checking account before I could spend it. But holy shit, I had that money in my savings account in the first place. I used to spend all my money on drugs. Air conditioning is a luxury. I got my second COVID shot yesterday, so yay, I'm vaccinated. I'm going to continue wearing a mask because I don't trust my head holes. They leak. I found out night before last that my mom and my sister told people at their country club that I'm special needs. And I told them that made me feel bad. They told me to my face. And I was like, I'm gonna go home and cry. And when I got home, I couldn't cry because my boyfriend had a friend over. So last night, after my boyfriend went to bed and I was finally alone, I cried. And I sent my mom and my sister text messages being like, y'all kind of just confirmed my fears of what y'all really think about me. If y'all are telling strangers something about me that's just not true. Because standing up for my character was out of the question. They just basically have to lead people to think that there's something wrong with me that isn't. There are plenty of things wrong with me. I mean, if the special needs is therapy because my family makes me feel bad about myself, then yeah, I guess that's my special fucking need. I'm very fucking grumpy this morning, and I am sorry about that. Maybe I should have stayed home. I really hope I don't lose it on someone. My arm hurts so bad. Oh my god. Shit. I'm annoyed with my office right now. I just feel like they want to sort of squeeze as much out of us as they can, but passive aggressively. It's weird to me that they thought selling the building without telling anyone and then moving the location north of the town over was just something we were all supposed to be like, all right, whatever. What? They got rid of the time clock in the break room, so you can't just walk in the door and clock in. You have to get to your desk, turn your computer on, log in, open a browser, go to the time clock website, type in your clock in number, then enter in a PIN number, and then when you're leaving, you have to clock out from your computer, shut the computer down, then leave. And I wonder if I could start clocking it on my phone. I'm not gonna do that. But yesterday, I suddenly found myself being talked at very closely by this new girl working at my office who's wasn't wearing a mask. And she was one of those people that talks close to you, so you back up, and she gets closer, so you back up, and it much like my mother does to me. So I just started backing up in circles around the break room. I walked into the break room just to get some water, and she suddenly looks at me and is like, oh god, my mom's sick, and I can't take time off to go visit her because I'm a temp. And I tried to be like, oh my gosh, your mom, I'm so sorry. Next thing I know, she's fucking giving me financial and career advice. She told me that she's a temp, and so I was just like, cool, which staffing agency? She tells me which staffing agency, and then she starts telling me all the other job placements they've given her before, and how she was making $25 an hour at these other jobs, and excellent severance packages, and monthly bonuses. And I was like, oh wow, that's cool. And she's like, yeah, this place is only paying me $10 an hour. She's been at the company for 2 weeks. And I just looked at her and I said, congratulations, you got hired on at a higher starting pay than I make now after having been with the company for over 4.5 years. And suddenly she's telling me stuff about LinkedIn and putting my resume up and basically telling me how to go get a new job and encouraging me to go get a new job. And I was very uncomfortable with that because that was not a conversation that I wanted to have in the break room at my job where people can hear it. So I said, you know, I really don't think this is a conversation we should be having. I don't think this is something that we should be talking about when other people we work with can overhear us. And she goes, why? It's because they know I'm right. She's like, oh my God. And I was just like, I'm so uncomfortable at that point, because what do? She's talking to me and making it sound like I've asked her to help me get out of there. Like I didn't ask her for that. I didn't say anything about that. She just started talking to me about how her mom is 93 years old and she's on dialysis, and then how she handles herself financially, and about all this money that she's made in the past, and then like, oh dang, I'm making this amount of money here. I was just like, how did I get here? And like, she saw that I was wearing a mask. She was not wearing a mask, but she stayed close to me. I don't understand it. But I started to get pretty freaked out, because now I'm paranoid that people at my office have like overheard what she's saying to me and think that like I had some part of that. But yeah, when like she complained about, oh, they only started me at an hour, and I was like, dude, the receptionist started. And I'm not saying the receptionist doesn't do anything, but she does seem to have a lot of free time to like doodle and talk to people and hang out. That's why I don't go to the fucking break room. That's why I keep 3 water bottles at my desk, so that I don't have to make trips to the break room, because if I walk in there, someone is going to talk to me, and I don't consent. Like for a while there, I did clock out at my desk before I left so I could go straight out the door instead of to the break room where the time clock was, because there was this one guy who would take his afternoon lunch breaks around the time that I was leaving, and so I'd walk in to clock out, and he would trap you in a conversation. He would just be like, oh, how you doing today? And because we're conditioned by society to fucking be kind to one another, or at least polite, the answer was always like, oh, I'm good, how are you? But he could never say, oh, I'm doing pretty good. And he would just start talking about like his cosplay or his Bible study group, or just like whatever he wanted to talk about. He would bait you into a conversation. And I'm not saying he's not a nice guy. He's just a little different than other people. He only cosplays as one character, though. The same character every time. My boyfriend called in sick today because he didn't want to put up with the bullshit that they were going to have to do at work today. And I was like, no, that's fair. That's a mental health day. And he's like, well, you know, we already have a holiday on Monday. It's a 3-day weekend. I won't be able to use any of my PTO for it. And I was just like, okay. But he acknowledges how fucking lucky he is to have all these paid holidays with his job. So I applaud him for knowing, like, I know specifically what things are going to happen at my job tomorrow, and I'm not going to be able to handle it, so I'm just going to stay home. I know it looks bad, but it would look worse if I went and was outwardly cantankerous or something. I applaud him. I've had to do that too, but I told him, like, no, that's a mental health day. That's very valid. And he seemed to not want to call it a mental health day. And I was like, okay, well, if you need a good lie for why you're staying home because you don't want to call it a mental health day, tell them they won't ask for a doctor's note because it's not yours. And then I acknowledged what a fucking horrible concept that was, and that I'm awful for saying that. About the time clock thing, my office is like really big on taking your lunch breaks for specific amounts of time, and they make it seem like they care about the individuals. Like they really think that you need to like I feel like that's just torture. You just want me to hang around the building for free? And it's not like I have enough time to like really go anywhere or do anything. Oh my gosh. There was one time that like, it was a nice day. I like ran over to Taco Bell and got food. And I had like 10 minutes left of my break. So I was like trying to eat real quick on the sidewalk outside. I had like my earbuds in and I was watching something on my phone. And some guy walked out to like take a smoke break. And I think that because he's one of those people that is like, oh, you're here too, so I'm going to talk to you. Because if you are here, you're clearly here for me, right? But yeah, it's like, one, I'm really particular about when and where and who I eat around. Because I had to like sit at the dinner table every night with my mom and my stepdad. And given the dynamic with them when I was growing up, it's really not fun to have to sit down and like eat with your abuser every day. And I remember like specifically when I started like purging was because I would sit there and they would like make me eat. Not eating was not an option. I just remember like feeling so awful and uncomfortable because like the situation of which the food was consumed ruined the food, and now the food was inside of my body and it felt bad and I wanted it out. So yeah, I don't like it if I'm posted up eating alone and somebody just walks up and starts talking to me or even if like I wasn't eating and I was just out there taking a smoke break. That's not leisure time that I'm just like kicking it. I take that time to like respond to text messages from my family and my boyfriend. The break is for me. I didn't come to hang out with whoever's around. Does that make any sense? I'm driving, so like I'm not train of thoughts not going in a linear direction. Dude, I am like so glad to have my car back. The rental that they gave me was a Tiguan, and the gas mileage was shit. Like it had a full tank when I got it, and all I did was like go to work, go home, and go back to work, and I was down to like a little over half a tank. And I was just like, damn. And like my car, I went to Houston and back on less than half a tank of gas. I love this car. It's amazing to have fucking AC, dude. Especially since it's fixing to be June. It's brutal. My car's black. It's got leather seats. The windows are not tinted. Anyway, I'm sorry for being in a bad mood today. I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important, so I want you to forgive yourself for the time that you have wasted watching this video, and have a good day. And for the record, I really do like my job. Sometimes you gotta complain about your fucking job, especially when new hires in your same department are making more money than you. Fuck!